Left-handed people of Reddit. What are some common inconveniences you experience that right-handed people don't know about? As a kid, having teachers constantly telling me I'm holding the pencil incorrectly. Also having teachers assume that my difficulty cutting things neatly with right-handed scissors was due to laziness and incompetence. I had this happen to me. I was forced to do a handwriting class when I was in primary school during lunchtime because I wasn't holding my pencil correctly. Turns out, a lot of DS games are built for right-handed people. Some will require you to use the D-pad and stylus at the same time, and that shit sucks. Also, more specific but Beyblade launchers annoyed the duck out of me as a kid. There were never any left-hand ones no matter how hard my mom looked. Trying to play the Kid Icarus game on the 3DS ducking killed me. I have a can opener that you twist on the edge of the can, but it's got a curve made for a righty on the twisty part, so it's really painful to twist. Also, some scissors won't cut. Like, you try to cut and the blades have a small opening between them because a right-handed person holding it creates needed pressure to push the blades together. Very frustrating. Edit. Some are commenting to buy new scissors. I have excellent scissors at home. But when I used to work at a school, sometimes I needed to cut paper and only select scissors would work for me. As for the can opener, I don't know why we still have it, lol. But it's my mom's, so I might get her a lefty one for the holidays, rather than just replace it. I just never questioned it. I think the brand is good, which is why we have it, and we don't use it often enough to merit constant frustration. Just a minor pain I thought I'd pitch in. It's not the worst lefty thingamo. It just hadn't been said when I left this comment. Can openers are the devil. Scissors. Scissors are the bane of my life. I was made fun of in the office constantly for this. And people acted like I was dumb or uncoordinated. Just flip them upside down, they said, watching me shred things. I brought an entire box of left-handed scissors into the office and hid all the righty scissors. Co-workers spend the morning shredding documents, tape, swearing at broken scissors. Just turn them upside down, I say with an evil grin. Just flip them upside down. I was trying to explain to someone the difference between lefty and regular scissors, and they couldn't understand or wouldn't believe me. Lefty scissors are a mirror image, not a rotation. Edit. Explanation. Youtuber link. Whenever I write on a whiteboard, if I'm not careful or 100% focused, then I will erase everything I write. Also, duck can openers. Duck whiteboards. Scissors and can openers suck, but I can make them work. I cannot write legibly on whiteboards. Bumping elbows while dining at large tables. Always try to take the leftmost seat on a side. At this point, my family knows to reserve it for me at gatherings. Spiral notebooks. To write comfortably, you'd have to write on the back of the paper. Also, the desks that are L-shaped. They're made for writers, and as a lefty your arm just hangs off the side as you write. I write on both sides of the pages in spiral notebooks. It really is a pain with the spirals in the way though. People watching you write with your left hand and feeling immediately compelled to ask if you are left-handed. Yes. Why do people do this? Oh, are you left-handed? Oh shit fam. My pencil just showed up in my left hand today. Weird F. Everyone asking, oh my god, are you a lefty? Every single time you do something with your left hand is actually really annoying after a while. I was in class taking notes and a guy in the row behind me leaned down and said, so, are you been left-handed your whole life? It was a solid line. I always have to remember to make sure I sit the farthest in when sitting a booth, because obviously a right-handed person's hand will bump mine when eating. Also at buffets, sometimes they have the soup ladles that are designed for pouring from the right hand. It's incredibly frustrating to awkwardly turn my hand and pour soup out, which always leads to me spilling a bunch of soup. Funny that I never realized this. My ex-wife used to get all pissed that I made a mess pouring soup, and it was no problem for her. Not quite a strictly left-handed thing, but my dominant side seems to be mismatched all up and down my body. I'm left-handed with almost everything, but I'm undoubtedly right-footed, and my right eye is stronger as well. Figuring out the best method of doing certain activities that involve those faculties has always been a little tricky. Same here. If I was holding a gun, I'd want to hold it left, but sight with my right eye. Though video games pretty much always put it on the right anyway. When I was learning guitar, I learned right-handed, but would air guitar left. That took a while to break, and seems totally weird to me now. Right hands might experience this, but pencil lead ink on the side of your hand pinky when you write. I'm in a studio design class and we got points marked off for any smudging on projects we turn in. My life is so hard right now. When I was in 4th grade, my school did the transition from pencils to pens. In order to move on from pencils, you had to pass a cursive test using erasable pens. My left hand would drag across the page and smudge my handwriting. My teacher consistently failed me because of smudges. I was the last kid in my grade to move on from pencils. I basically changed my writing style and now I write upside down. I had this exact same experience also in grade 4. My teacher was horrible. Took me forever to move on to using a pen. A lot construction tools are laid out handling wise to be primarily right-handed friendly. Like the release buttons to turn it off on for my jigsaw. Or some tools have handles positioned to be held only in the left hand while guiding with the right, enforcing you to hold it the only way a right-handed person would. Unfortunately, as a lefty, I decided to get used to it and use what is made available in the stores for convenience. And I basically grew up ambidextrous anyhow. Cause of little things like these. Same here. You just make do with right-handed tools. My life changed when I used a left-handed circ saw. I did not know they existed until recently. It will be my next purchase. As silly as this may sound, measuring cups. In the USA, a lot of measuring cups are set up so that when the handle is on the right, the units facing you are the American units, cups, and ml are on the back. It's a pain to need to turn the measuring cup around 180 degrees to measure the item, then back 180 degrees to pick up the cup again with your left handle. As a Canadian, I adjusted by becoming fluent in conversions and slowly phasing out measuring many things. Using scissors. I found some lefty ones off of Amazon that work pretty well. But the really fun part is watching right-handed people try to use them. The bulk food bins at the grocery has the scoops tethered to the right side. The tether gets in the way if you scoop with your left hand. Also, a good cooking knife has the beveled edge on the right side. Food doesn't fall off the knife when a lefty uses it and the knife wanders on the way down the cut. Food doesn't fall off the knife when a lefty uses it. Oh my god. After so many years of chopping shit up, have I finally stumbled upon the reason for this? When I'm at a buffet, all of the utensils have their handles oriented for the right hand. I use them and set them down with the handle oriented for a lefty just to be petty. Fishing reels. Everything is for right-handed people. Guns. Most of them are set up for right-handed people, i.e. safety button and release. I had to keep one of those ambidextrous rifles clean for a little bit. The mag release was ambidextrous, but having the shell ejected into your bicep proved otherwise. I am ambidextrous for most things, but right-left-handed. For me, the biggest inconvenience is trying to sign the electronic point of sales credit card machines. The cord for the pen is wrong and my signature looks nothing like my real signature. I always notice this. Like this cord isn't long enough to let me hold the pen as I normally do, which, given, is very lefty slanty, but still. Golf clubs are an ordeal. Can't tell you how many of my family members and friends hand down clubs. Some have multiple sets because of that. No such luck for us lefties. Also, store selections are thin to none. The last Dong's Sporting I visited has 20 plus sets to try and one left-handed. I should have just learned to hit righty. Even some golf courses give right-handed players an edge. That is, they are built in such a way that even if you miss your shot and slice it to the right, which is common for right-handed players, you'll still find the fairway. On the other hand, if you're a lefty and slice the ball to the left, you'll most likely be either in the rough or out of bounds. Shaking hands with people can be kinda annoying because my right hand is just naturally weaker, so my grip is always off. Jokes on them. Righty is my wiper. constantly dealing with people commenting about you being left-handed like you have a third eye, or automatically asking if you know their second cousin's best friend who is also left-handed like we somehow all know each other. Not an inconvenience but worth mentioning. I can multitask while using a computer like crazy. My right hand can work the mouse while my left hand writes or draws. It's pretty awesome and perfect for my work, which involves mainly graphics, event planning, and budgeting. I'm ambidextrous but shoot left-handed. Does anyone know of an airsoft gun manufacturer that makes left-handed guns? You need to awkwardly flip the gun over to reload without switching hands. On a similar note, my dad told me bolt-action rifles aren't much fun for lefties and left-handed runs are uncommon. Every door opens the wrong direction. Every gate also. Keys turn to the right. So do screwdrivers when you loosen something. Scissors are upside down. And every kitchen layout is set up for right-handed people. Also, a lot of coffee makers are incredibly hard to fill left-handed. I can't see the water level without stopping, leaning over, looking and filling again. Edit. Yes. Thank you everyone who called my ass out on doorknobs and such. I just meant it's slightly annoying that everything is geared toward right-handed people. Even tape measures are easier if you're right-handed, but yes, you can use them left-handed. Mea culpa. When you guys are right, you're right. Equals it. No ambidexterity to speak of. Phone interfaces are designed for right thumbs. Look where return and delete are on an iOS keyboard. And the send button on the Reddit app 2FFS. People don't use two hands to type. I'm a lefty and I've never encountered any problems with this. Smearing ink all over the paper and the side of your hand. Okay, so the country I grew up in, people would sometimes give me shit for eating with my left hand. Oh. My stupid kindergarten teacher told my parents to force me to use my right hand to write and eat. WTF. It is because the devil is left-handed. You don't want to be the devil, do you, boy? Writing is messy. Pencils, pens, and markers all smear. Using a cool mug and realizing the design faces you instead of away. I actually prefer this. I got the mug so I could look at it, not show it to others. Notebooks are the worst thing in the world. Especially the spiral ones. You have to write at a weird angle, otherwise you end up resting your hand on the spirals, which is just uncomfortable. Also, the amount of people who make a big deal about you being left-handed. I literally had to deal with a woman who spent 20 minutes trying to convince me that I'm genetically defective for being left-handed. I can hardly believe that there are people who genuinely believe that. What a moron. Standard pen tips plugging up and being useless after a couple days. I tried to cheat on this one by googling it to see if there were more. I never realized that the numbers on the tape measure were upside down for me, but correct if you hold it with your right hand. But in retrospect, something always felt a little awkward about it. I have learned to read the tape upside down. Infinite power. I write downwards. All my years at school having to turn the book so I didn't rest awkwardly on the spine. Can usually point out the lefty in the room because whatever they're writing on tends to be sideways and uncomfortable looking, haha. You're using the wrong hand, my dad. To me. Approximately 3 times a week since I could write. On the flip side, pun intended, I think that it's pretty sweet how most credit card devices at stores have that fake pen housed on the left side, most likely for visibility purposes. So when we go to sign the screen, the cord doesn't get in our way. But it's a pain for the righties. I like the idea that, for once, they have to deal with a continual minor inconvenience. The credit card swipe being on the right side of a self-checkout cash register, not so much of an issue anymore with the chips. I'd try using my left hand. Look like an idiot and can't get it to read. Use my right hand and I still can't get it to read because that hand is uncoordinated. Dealing with Muslims. You must avoid using the left hand. For my curiosity's sake. What exactly is the reason for that? Finding decent left-handed gaming mice is a beach. At best you can hope for an ambidextrous mouse. But if you want an MMO mouse, your soul. Razer did left-handed nagas for a while. But they seem to have been discontinued. Also going to work. Finding someone else has used my desk and finding the mouse on the right. It's only a minor thing, but having to move it back every time gets annoying. Thankfully I'm actually ambidextrous in most things, but I have to use my computer mouse left-handed, and while I can write with both hands, I need to use my left for finer stuff like drawing, painting. I also have much more precision with my mouse if I use my left hand, so left is definitely more dominant there. I'm also a left-eyed shooter. My left eye is stronger than my right. I have very blurred vision in my right eye, so that might be why. I'm a pure righty when it comes to throwing, kicking things. Cross dominance is what it's called, I suppose. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together.